session, and I want to thank everybody for coming, being here. We'll have a little word of prayer first, and we'll get started. Thank you, Father, for all your blessings. I pray, God, that you give us all wisdom today as we work together and try to work on decisions that best suit your will and what's good for this county, Father. Pray, God, that it's not about us, but about serving others. And we all remember that. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. All right. I know you want to speak. I know you got something you need to add. You want to go first since we're in the work session? Everybody good with that? Go ahead, please.
I was waiting before Ms. Brown brought to my attention about Ray, she's third guy. In the year previous to that, I'm going to say I know last 20 years, we were told by the county administrator and human resource officer that all we had to do was send them a letter. I wasn't aware of nothing about that's what's coming about these. I've done it in good faith. I thought I was doing right. And when they done the pay schedule, like that, I may have talked for about 10 or 15 minutes. That handout I gave you all that stuff. Another easier than the clerk and the assistant clerk to do. I thought I was doing that.
Well, I think, sure, I'm sure the administrator said we need to send in a letter, but whenever we're doing we said the president of what the pay is with each employee. And if it's going to be increased, it's got to come before the commission. So there's the HR person, she has a pay scale that she has to go by. And with our pay study, we just think it's somewhere around, everybody was wanting to pay study, the commission was wanting to pay study, and we probably should have pumped our brakes a little bit more on it because something we thought was going to be 270, 60.
Below 200 and end up at about 269 or something like that, 1,000.
Yeah. And so we went through that to bring everybody up to the pay study. But ever since I've been here, even when our engineer, we still, even after the pay study, we've had people come to us from other departments that says this ain't right. It's never right. But the commission, where our budget is this year, maybe when some more houses gets built or something like that, but it's like hiring these extra deputies and stuff. But I've never seen where they just come in and say we're going to. A department head comes in and says, we're going to move this one up. Usually it's a set price what we advertise the job for. And in that pay study or in there, that it sets the price. I know the engineer has come a couple of times, to change his where he does away with something and asks to change something, within his budget, which his budget is a little bit different because he works off of the money that comes in off the gas tax, and all that money just goes into his department. But there is a way of doing it. It is to send in a letter to the HR person, and the HR person should bring it to the commission, and we're going to do a pay increase. Because it's not fair to the other departments as far as pay goes. Now, when you get your money, when we approve your budget, and you always did good with your budget.
Yeah, we never done.
So, but in your budget, the way I've always understood it, the way it's always worked since I've been here, is as far as money for employees and stuff like that, that don't carry over. It just, so that's locked in stone. But if you want to use this money to use this or whatever, however you and Lane over the years, Paula has always worked with the money that y'all pay. That's outside of it, as far as setting the standard of how much somebody's going to make. We can't just all of a sudden, it's almost like if they come in, we can't pay them less and we can't pay them more, other than, if there's a program set up for it. And I think that's where, the misunderstanding is. And on Emily's part, you know, she sort of had in her mind that you could say, I'm gonna give this person $1 hour raise. But as far as I know, that's me, you know, I'm just knowing what I know. I mean, in the past with our other administrator, what the administrator said or done, most of the time, anything come before us, if you did send a letter to the administrator or to the HR person, it's usually always brought up in a work session and then voted on.
And I didn't know where that went after we
Yeah.
sent them to them and all that.
But that was it. But I think doing it this way, you know, because we had 4 or 5 people come and said that pay study, you know, we should do it this, you know, it wasn't enough. And that, you know, what we did in that pay study was a big step for Cleburne County. So we, and all the elected officials, you know, just looked at it, and a few elected officials sort of like, well, it skipped us. Well, we're trying to take care of all the employees as a whole, and to try to give them something where you got people that come in and work, you know, and you know, just do a across the board increase where, you know, it takes forever to get a raise, but where it would be on the individual and the time that they work.
All they, when they start at different levels, how do you determine who gets a raise? You have to have like, the next step to determine that.
Emily, you want to speak on this?
The staff raises, right now, we don't have a plan in place, but we do have a chart that gives us staff raises. But y'all, the commission will have to vote on a plan as to when.
But in this package that we did, there is an increase because we had employees that got more money based on how many years they were here.
This is an equity increase, there's equity and there's step, both of those are in there. We don't have a plan in place for step, but we do have a plan in place for equity.
Right. That,
I mean, when we did the pay study, we had 2 or 3 meetings on it. I thought everybody was good. I mean, if y'all wasn't good with it, you should have spoke up at that time.
I didn't even know what was up before it came out.
Yeah.
Of course, I got chief clerk, he got 25 years. And assistant clerk got 12.
I did notice when they did the pay study that this position in question didn't get a raise, so to speak, got a few pennies, and that, I didn't agree with that at all, but we had to accept it because it was part of the study. And, I don't have a problem with what you're trying to do if you bring it before the commission. Let's do it.
I just, and I'm not trying to stir up trouble, but I think that has been the common understanding since I've been here, that the sheriff's office was a different entity in the sense that I thought there was an attorney general's opinion that, I don't know if there's any policy, that may be something we need to ask the ACCA, but the sheriff, as long as he stays within his budget, he can do basically what he wants. And that's always been my understanding. Now, I'm not, you know, but I just.
well, if that's the case,
Yeah.
if that's the case, what you just said, then all policies that's in there as far as, because you can't just say, if he's got an employee there, he says, you know what, I'm gonna pay him $30 an hour.
Well,
that's
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so-
You're gonna push it, let me say this. He works a whole different way than we do. He can hire and fire employees
That's
at
correct.
drop of a hat. I can't. I can get rid of my chief clerk. But there's not a soul back here that can say, hey, you're out here, there's no question.
I've seen,
That's why I'm asking. You know, it's always been my understanding that he works in a different sense. We make the budget. He has to stay within the budget, but it's his decision. That's just always the way I took it and understood it for the last 22 years.
Well, let's just clear it up through the ACCA and move on with it.
But, you know, and it's no different than when, you know, the engineer comes or I mean, all the departments come and with more money. And I see what you're saying, but as far as, once we say it, you can't all of a sudden say, tomorrow, you know what, we're gonna pay I mean, if that's the case, these deputies would be making $25 2 years. So I'm just saying, if it was just wide open on that set.
No, I think he knows and has studied, I think he understands that concept, he's still got to say it in his budget. But now that's just the way I've always understood it, and I didn't know, I thought there was a Attorney General opinion out there that he is, in a sense, a different
Well, I understand what you're saying.
entity.
And that's what, that was the difference that I have interpreted, that when it comes to his budget, outside, you know, his benefits and, you know, sick time, vacation time, and all that, they're all entitled to all that. Whether, you know, and with them being emergency personnel, you know, they have to show up for work when other people sit at home with their feet propped up. They might not know what holiday they're on, but they get paid for it, where I understand that they're out there having to work.
Well, he works under a different set of rules, definitely, than what Lee and his group, and what my group did. So I'm just saying that, I'm saying that maybe we should get,
Why don't we just get it clarified in the next week meeting?
We'll go from there. We really don't know.
Get Jason to look into that, or get Lisa, or
Has any-
anybody to call ACCA, or
has anybody, have y'all called? Done anything? Asked,
I called sheriff in Montgomery County, but he used to be over the sheriff's office. And he said, you know, different opinions about it. He said he's having problems enough, like we are, trying to come up with money to do resource law. I don't know, I think they're gonna make like we hadn't talked to them.
Well, I think we've about got that. I think all we're waiting on is for the paperwork to put that on the agenda for that, so.
all right, so the proper venue, I guess, would be to ask the ACCA and our county attorney, if I'm good with that,
Yeah.
just to find out where we're at.
We'll reach out. What's the new lady that come up the other week, our new attorney?
Dave Filbert.
You know, if y'all, you know, if you do some of your research too. on that. I think that's part of the problem, and I'm not saying that one's right or one's wrong, but it's always been assumed and understood. Because a long time ago, I don't know, Emmett, you may have been here when the Sheriff's Association was not part of the ACCA.
Right.
They were a different entity, and there was,
I was amazed that they decided to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to do everything right. I don't want nothing, I don't want my people to have nothing that they don't deserve.
Well, I think they deserve more than, you know, than our county do. But I just want to make sure that we do it right too. I mean, I don't want it to say, if it's going to start going like this, and,
I say what's wrong.
so, but I'll make sure that I reach out, that we'll reach out, I'll reach out to tomorrow, to the ACCA, see what they say, we can get some opinions back on it, so we'll just go from there.
but we don't have any policy written here within our group about it.
I mean, I thought everybody just fell under the same,
Umbrella.
yeah. It didn't matter if it's your office or the sheriff's office. I mean, I know the sheriff can do whatever he wants to with his money, but I thought that excluded salaries. I thought he couldn't do anything with salaries without coming back to us, but.
Maybe find that out.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
let's find out.
We just bought two vehicles, discretionary money. We didn't know what that was going to be in the budget, and by the time we got it breaking down, you have to have a dollar record and everything.
The reason we took that car out of the budget was because we didn't think y'all could find a car, Justin.
We bought two trucks, and they really not super paid. Lane's vehicle is, and detective's vehicle is, so we're gonna put them on the road. And, like that truck I drive, it's not, I don't think it's stupid.
But you will, but you are, but who was it was telling us, Terry, who was telling us that they went ahead and, that we need to go ahead, if you need 2 vehicles, you need to put in for 4. Who was telling us that?
That's what,
Who was they telling me?
that's what they told us.
Yeah, he was telling us that. So I think we need to put in for the vehicle.
Well, see, it's gonna pass. We got one ordered. I mean, it's on hold. It's, when I say March, February, March is where they're gonna be ready.
But it's almost like you get one, you need to go ahead, if you get a new one, go ahead and send it to the transmission shop. I just got to pay $5,700 getting one done last week, and the car didn't have but 103,000 miles on it.
We got one, that two.
Now, what he's giving y'all one hundred miles too, right?
Yeah,
He said, I can't believe that, he's doing it. It don't take long to get 100 with y'all.
There is a difference in our personnel with the sheriff's office, right? Do you know what it is, how much difference there is in it? Or is it just dealing basically with how he can handle hiring and firing or other things?
That it's just for sheriff's department, that it's just the raising of the salaries.
It's just what now? I'm sorry.
You asked what the only issue is? Yes, it's just the salaries. There's no other cause of it in any department, so it's not.
But as far as the personnel policy, it does not work the same.
It does not work the same. They do not fall under our grievance policy. They can't file grievances with myself and then through the grievance committee, way other departments do. They have to handle that in their department. They're not that. They have their own operating procedure, of course, because of the job that they do. So they fall under some of our safety policies and things like that, but then they have an entire another group of policies that they have to follow that nobody else in the company does for the jail and sheriff. So they're different with hiring, firing, with their policies and with their agreements.
So it true. John and I, he couldn't file a grievance in these things.
They drive camel money.
Right.
But I can't do it now. He can come tell me about it, but there's nothing happening.
Right. I just didn't know what all the difference was. But I know that there is.
There's been many differences.
All right, we'll pursue that. Sheriff, if you do your homework, and we'll try to do our homework. Find a solution.
Can I mention one thing that I noticed? And I think the pay study was very much needed, and I thank all of y'all for passing a pay study and pay increases. One thing that I did notice though, when the group came in to do the phone interview, they did 10, 15 minutes with each person. In Cassie's situation, she'd been in a position for 4 months that she really didn't even know what all was required of her at that time, because out there, every day is a brand new day. You deal with different things, different days. So she was answering questions and trying to describe a position that she hadn't even fully got involved in to see what all was required. So that additional list, she has become more familiar with what she does now and what's required of her. And in the pay study, the one thing that I noticed, and Emily can verify this, they changed my title from chief clerk to office manager. And as long as I've been here, 2 months shy of 25 years, there has been a chief clerk for the probate, chief clerk for the sheriff, chief clerks for just a standard, I guess, position within county departments. And
I'll stop you right there. That was just the pay study only, that we didn't change anything.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, that title's in the.
Right,
Yeah, you still got your same old title, that was just for the pay study
I did,
zone.
right, yes.
And
They
they had a written job description of every job in the county,
Right,
but they did come out and do personal interviews.
they did.
But the lady you're talking about there, they did have a piece of paper that said her responsibilities are this, 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 and this.
Right, they did. But one of the things that I noticed that chief clerk for the sheriff's department was 3 grades below chief clerk for probate. And I think about years of service from both of us, because we've both been here a long time. And when I saw that the office manager, chief clerk, was in 3 grades below the chief clerk for probate, I didn't understand the difference in the two. I don't understand what constitutes one job description being so much more important than the other. And that's just my personal feelings on it.
I think that came up also between my group and the revenue group, and we made some changes on that, but I wasn't aware of yours.
I was just sure.
That was the kind of information we had, what did we have, 3 meetings? 2 or 3 meetings on that pay study. That was the kind of information we were looking for during those meetings. Because me as a commissioner, I don't know what Dennis does other than impress somebody. And same as the deputies, I don't know their day-to-day, operation of what they're doing.
You sure don't know what?
Yeah, so when we had those meetings and was going over the pay study, that was the information we needed then. It would have been real helpful. And maybe it's our fault that we make it clear that we wanted the department heads and the departments to participate,
So you're still at that level?
At 14, yes, sir. And I think that's part of the reason that he went those steps up, because he didn't feel like a 14 and a 17 being 3 grades between, he didn't understand why I was any less important than somebody else that had 25 years. So I think that's one reason that he did do those step increment increases for me, because we were in 2 different pay grades.
I'm sorry. I think we were all looking at the big picture and didn't see some of the little details sometimes. And that got caught up in the revenue and probate office. There's some difference between the chief clerks there too.
And I don't think I'm any more important.
No, and I understand, but I just think we may have missed that if, as a group, looking at the whole thing instead of little, but something similar happened between probate and revenue. I don't know if y'all remember that, but we had to make some changes, and if that had probably been brought to our attention, we could have changed it then possibly. Because I do think chief clerks are probably across the
I think
board.
too, part of what would help is to look at the changes that you made in yours and Joyce's office, and then the ones that did the study, bring that to their attention. Reach back out to the ones who've done the study, say, this is what we're dealing with. The whole reason why we did a pay study is because I like Paul. Do I think you're underpaid? I'd say yes, I do. Even what you get now, I mean, you're sort of the glue of that place. So I sure don't want no sad face on, and we have to get up to work every day. So I would like to tie it in, no different than the way we approach this, that it wasn't that we were going to pick and choose. So anything that was even changed in Ryan's office was done through the pay study. So if we're going to do that, let's also include them in the circle, Emily, to reach out to them, take these 3 pay studies, and they could possibly be more cleared up to something that wouldn't, what do you think?
These are all valid points, but this is all stuff that should have been borrowed up when we were doing the pay study. And I don't know the day-to-day operation. I must admit, I don't know the day-to-day operation of Ryan's office. I do know what these ladies are supposed to do because she works for us. But this was stuff that me personally, I would have liked to have known back the first of the year when we were trying to tie this up, because, I'm just going to tell you the truth, I didn't go through there and look at every job. We had the meetings, and Dennis comes on the meetings, and as far as I know, y'all were welcome to come to the meetings. And we got input, and I thought we had everything solved, so maybe we don't have everything solved.
But you feel okay with it, to reach out to the pay study?
Yeah, well,
At least ask the question.
Yeah, at least that's the question on that. Because, you know, what they did, a lot of the pay study went to counties that was already paying a lot more than we did, so, so that really, you know, I mean, some people got, I was sort of blown away that some people got more money, and I'm like, you know, because you know, and that's the reason why they took it out of our hands, but we would target,
well, we don't know.
we don't know, so that's the best thing for us is not to know.
We as a commission, I mean, I'm just gonna tell it like it is. I don't know what to pay nobody, you know, I don't know what to pay people that work for me in my 2 businesses that I own, but I don't know what to pay people that does y'all's job. So that's the reason we brought in an independent company that was reputable, that was supposed to get us to where we needed to be. And, well, me personally, I relied on them and y'all, if y'all saw an issue, to bring it to our attention, you know.
Well, I never want to get squeaky wheel.
Well,
It sounds like I'm great, but I am.
Sometimes I do, because I think that had all this come out before the pay study was passed, then at least we could have worked with Congress to get the things adjusted that needed to be adjusted before it was passed by the commission.
We could have addressed it. But that's sort of what shocked me when all this came up. I was like, well, we just did the pay study back in the spring, and now we're already going to change it. So, but let's get clarification and see. And if everybody's good, then move forward. I guess you'll have to vote on it.
I guess, that question, I guess chief clerks, are they all treated the same in most cases across the board? Do you know, as far as the other chief clerks and other, as far as sheriffs?
A lot of them, there are still some chief clerks within sheriff's department statewide, but a lot of them have started because they have large administrative staffs. They name a person like a sheriff's administrative secretary, and then there may be a chief clerk and a criminals clerk, a civil clerk, you know, that do that in larger departments.
Because that's the one odd thing that's a little different from like you use a business and you have a HR. My chief clerk works at my pleasure like all of y'all work at Dennis's pleasure. And so does Joyce's chief clerk work at her pleasure. She can let her go or hire her, you know. So, but anyway, let's try to do some study on this and make a decision. Give you a little more time. Anything else, Sheriff? Crystal, you had something you wanted?
Yes, sir, I did. I hear that the vehicle was taken out of the 911 budget. So I'm here to tell you guys that we did find a vehicle, and it's a 2022 Ford Explorer. And it's about $35,000. And I'm wanting to know if y'all agree with me to go ahead and purchase that.
You go purchase that with the money you've already got. Is it VA?
I'm sorry.
Is it VA?
It is Ford. Fully loaded.
We put it on the agenda. The reason they got taken out was because with the issues everybody's had to find a vehicle. That's what we took it out of sheriff's budget, which we were gonna come back when we found one and put it back in the same year. And,
He definitely said they go really fast, but he did say that they had some.
So y'all, and that would be an amendment to the budget, right?
no, she's already got the money. We just passed a resolution for her to be able to purchase it.
Okay.
And I was gonna just make that deal sweeter, is that I was notified last week, at the end of the fiscal year, the state 911 board reassesses the fees that are collected within the
the state, and the surplus money that usually is left over, they earmarked it in the past, I'd say 3 or 4 years, to the Amgen project, just to upgrade all the 67 counties to the digital phone system. Anyways, they have to release that back to the counties, so we'll get an extra $14,000 as well. And it's, I think it's $14,900 that's coming back to the 91 account, extra on top of what we got.
What are you gonna do with your old car?
We figured we would keep it. We've got a lot of GIS mapping projects we want to start working on, and it's just juggling vehicles, trying to make
But
sure.
it'll be parked here at the end of every day.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, so we want a resolution, to buy a car. Y'all want that on consent agenda or? Everybody give that consent agenda?
Yes.
All right. Do we need a resolution to buy, purchase, sheriff's car? Are you ready to buy?
Oh, I already bought two. I bought two out of
This
one
way?
out of Cleburne and one out of Cleburne.
They requested one in the budget, I don't have a problem with that.
But you got it ordered, right?
But you gonna use all this, or you gonna use the one they got ordered, that's the question.
That's the one you're gonna use, right?
Okay, so that'd be a future.
So we got time on that.
What do you think the time frame is on getting it? But you got it ordered, so all you need is when you pass it anytime.
Yeah, well, they told, last time I talked to them, they're looking at February, or March before they get them in.
We'll just have to make the budget,
They're in production right now.
We like to get anything this coming week. Nice to do that. All right, now,
Yes, sir.
anybody have any questions?
Is that something we need to do in a 911 meeting instead of a mission meeting, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it's not, it'll be in a 911. Because she's already got the money.
While the sheriff here too, Fred's looking to try to get the guys to come up and take all this equipment away. If y'all got a bunch of stuff, I don't know, they might just pull the truck over, if y'all got a bunch of stuff, if y'all want, computers, I don't know if y'all have any, if not, it'd be a good time to make it come. It's gonna sort of be like what Calhoun County did, where they just come in and we got piles of phones and stuff. So Fred's working on getting a day set up that we can,
Just the biggest goal.
yeah, now, what are you saying needs to be done to your computers?
Fred is going to take our hard drives out because we have sensitive data on it. So he's pulling our hard drives and we'll destroy those, and we're taking the shelves, everything. We've got printers, phone, equipment, just a lot of new technology on top.
So once we clean those shelves off, do you want all that stuff just put where you get access, or you want it to put it somewhere? Where would you want that stuff in that
Probably where we,
shelves off?
yeah.
Are the printers usable, something like that? No. Good.
That's supposed to be, some of that stuff's been down there before.
It was in the old building, and when we moved to the new building, they just bought new.
So it's sitting and done like the
Yeah.
It'll free up a lot of room, especially right now.
We got a lot of junk out there, we need to do something with it back, work on that. I don't think you got any lead in anything online.
You talking about the old cars?
Or you get rid of what? Cages, something like that came out of there. We got one tile sitting out there, everything's still in there. Motor.
Is it worth putting the phone in?
Yeah, 200,
Spent over 200,
230,000.
yeah, right close to 250, I think. It's like 8,000, between $8,000 and $10,000 for the motor.
I don't think that has been changed, doesn't it? Transmission.
Might well put them both in at the same time if you did.
Might be something to look at with
I think the motor $8,000.
Now, we used to do it, just when we used to do it, we used to do it a lot better when we just pulled everything across the road and just had an option like when we had it at the county barn, we had it at your office. I mean, it's like, at least everything was gone when the sun went down.
Yeah,
It might be there too.
No, they not, you know, like stuff out.
So, can't we go back and do that, have somebody come in and just sell it, pull the tractor off, or sell it where it stands, as far as I'm concerned? All we gotta do is just put it on, is it already been put on inventory to be sold? Did you do that already?
Well, I think, yeah, we make it surplus and.
I think they did, and it was gonna be sold, but I remember us approving it.
I think it was December of last year, we had
Yeah.
a surplus list of a few of them, so we could put them on that gov deal or whatever.
But if there's anything to be added, if you go ahead and add it, send it over here, we'll pass it next
They would
week.
probably have a few more things to do.
We hire an auctioneer, he gets a percentage, but I think if he's under a certain amount, right, it's not, we'll
The
have
good
to
thing,
bid it out.
and the good thing is it's gone now, like the stolen cars or stuff like, you have those, you got some of that stuff, that's,
We got some, cars that we got seed and got condemnation on.
so what they would do is, because some of them, don't you have to do something about the tile, break out the frame or something?
That was big, but we looked at that, identity scared on it.
But those can be sold without title, just for parts or something.
So, right.
Yeah.
I don't think we got any like that.
We got we got two that's got compartments that's gotta be welded back up.
And then any old motorcycles or four-wheelers,
That's several old four-wheelers out there.
get it all, throw it out there, get rid of it all at one time. Because that thing's been out there 3 or 4 years long,
Which one?
those old four-wheelers.
It's on their land.
I remember that. Yeah, but I mean, the leaves are already high as the tires.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a list and we'll get it, and then we'll call somebody in to get rid of it. I'd love to get that cleaned out.
All right, so we're about on yours and 911. Just we don't need you. All right. Moving to you, Ms. Lisa Cole.
Just a few things, I have an agency license that has been applied for. The state's already approved their part of it, we just need to pass ours. It's for the store, it's in, that's the name of it, the store, it's in Rammer. So you want to put on consent agenda?
Consent agenda, good with y'all?
To like the store on 49.
Yes.
Old Teal Stone?
I thought that's what they sell here.
Well, how did you get there?
They have you on horse. They have you on or something?
It was, I couldn't pronounce it if I tried, but,
Already,
A couple years ago.
that was a long time ago, yeah.
and they change hands sometimes and doing the same thing and that thing, so it may be that kind of situation.
But the state approved it, then, nothing we do.
Now, this passing
Probably
on.
not even come to the board, let's go to the inside.
I don't know if you saw that, the ACCA had asked us to, approve or give your approval of a couple of amendments, your support for a couple of amendments.
To this stuff?
Yes. I have a resolution for that. It is about, expanding broadband and giving the county a little bit more authority on how that happens. That's what those amendments are about. So I really want to cover that, if you want to put on the agenda.
You want the agenda or consent? Read it out loud?
I don't say it's,
I think we'll read it out loud. I don't do business. I have, but if there's other people here that want to.
So we'll read those two out loud, just put it on new business.
Now, on the home rule about being able to do stuff out, it's on there. Too, right?
That was the very last amendment.
Yeah, if y'all look at the sample ballots, it's got it on there.
Yeah. Do we want to put that on there before that? Or can
We've already voted.
Yeah, we already voted, put it on there.
Yeah. It's up to you guys.
We didn't support it when I moved that.
I don't know, but,
You just want kind of more advertising.
no, I did it all out, I can't.
The next thing I have
Maybe one. You want it on the agenda? You want it on the agenda? Okay. All right. I mean, all it takes is one of you to get it pointed on there. You want it on?
Okay. The next thing I have is a request from Map Solutions. We have put our section in this mapping that they do every 3 years. They have
I
requested,
think it's about,
it's $1,900 for 3 years. This is the price on it. So I did get a request for that,
How many maps do we get?
400.
I'll put it on.
They're gonna be busy.
And then I also have a resolution, and it's about the Title VI program, personal transportation, about discrimination in our transportation program. That's something that really we should already pass, but it's an every year thing, it has to be passed for us to continue to get funding for our transportation program.
But there's no dollars in that, we just agreed to that.
Consent good with that?
Yeah.
And the only thing else I have is just a comment that we did have our bid, and it was this past week for the sheriff's department vehicle maintenance. We did not get any bids on that.
So what will the auditor say about that? We spoke to them?
I don't know anything about it. I decided I would let talk to you guys about this week, since our opening was just this past Thursday. So,
I think the biggest thing is the document that you have, and then we gotta do the best we can.
absolutely. And we did the documentation that was done, that we put those ads in, but I don't know what we need to do as far as, do we need to expand our area? I'm not sure what the next step
Or,
is.
or out they go.
It was just put in the local paper, it was not put in, you know, Aniston, in the city or anything like that, so.
We didn't go to Oxford.
We didn't do that.
I didn't go to Oxford.
That's where all our transmissions get done anyway, thanks.
Yeah,
We don't have a transmission shop in Cleburne County. That's where we got it.
process is to get one repair place to do the work and then send out for anything else, so we just pay them. So, you know, it's a process, but I don't know what we need to do as far as getting it.
Why don't you talk to the auditors, because if we don't approve something like that, then we're gonna have to go to get out everything for something that makes sense, but I mean, by law, once you get to $15,000, then you would have to start bidding it out, which I hope we'll never have to do that, but that's what we're trying to get around by doing this. Reach out to the auditors and see, tell them the dilemma we're in and tell us how to reconcile it, because they're the ones that's gonna pitch bill that.
Right.
The biggest thing is putting us over most of these transmissions, right? I think
No,
ours is.
it's well over, big time over. I mean, the way the law reads is, once you get up to $15,000, from that point forward, you gotta bid everything out. That's stupid. Okay, we gotta have oil tanks. Okay, let's bid out oil tanks. You know, that's what we're trying to do by doing this to get around it. I don't know. Somebody with more knowledge than me, this is that.
Well, all things don't work for every concept. I mean, every concept that works.
I think it's crazy. You gotta add them all together.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what it's like, law reads.
I feel the same way, and I don't know if, because I don't know anything about bids and all that stuff, but I did when Kim was here, and she put the first bid out, when she put it out for our department and Lee's department both. I asked her, she called me the day before the end of the period, and I asked her, she said, Paula, nobody submitted a bid, and I said, well, what happened? I said, what if nobody submitted a bid? And she said that as far as she knew, I guess maybe the auditors had told her, I don't know who informed her, but she said if nobody within the local area, county area submits, she said then we have to advertise surrounding counties. She said, of course, you know, somebody in the surrounding county bid, she said, then y'all will be going to Oxford, to Ashland, to wherever the lowest bid is to get your oil change done. I said, Kim, that's not an option. I said, we can't go outside the county to do an oil change when in-county is so much more convenient because of the way they work. And she said, well, let's just hope somebody submits a bid. And luckily, Brooks came in last day and submitted a bid.
Roger's on the legislative committee this year, why don't you discuss that with Sonny? And see, even if we have to get some kind of law passed next year to sort of give the small counties a break, you okay with talking to Sonny about that?
Or if they could, like with everything being lumped in that one line item, that 234, vehicle maintenance, that's your transmission, that's your oil change, that's everything you do.
Tires and all.
And that adds up in no time for one department, especially countywide.
When that first came up, I think we discussed that, whether we could break it down and say, okay, this line item is for brakes, this line item is for oil change. I think we were totally gonna do that. That maintenance was maintenance. And it just fell into, you know, light equipment, heavy duty equipment, which leaves heavy duty equipment is a totally different deal from all these.
Now, the oil change and stuff, what's, on some of the other stuff that our local folks, they will say, we're gonna get the sheriff card running and move, you know, if my car's sitting there, I just have to get it the next day and then work on your car. I don't think we're gonna get that favoritism when we start wandering off over out in here. I don't think we will. So it just has to see what we can do.
Let Lisa reach out to the auditors and see if they run across this in other counties and they got a solution. And if that don't happen, maybe Roger can bring it up in the legislature, I can't even talk to the committee anyway. And see if the ACCA will step in and try.
And there might be some other counties that have run into the same issue with their attorney or sheriff back.
Sure they do.
And maybe the legislature needs to pass something where we can break that down.
Yeah.
I have one thing, we put the light in the store in the shop today, we had a couple of issues with it, with oil change. We just got, we just got a message from them that it's gonna be over $1,000. If the repairs on the right now. Says rear rotors, brake fluid service, balance tires, and alignment. Front brakes, front brakes is already installed.
Like it's break to it, it's just stuff up with it.
Right.
All you gotta do is take the pump hell out once you dig in, the crack will go there. What else have you done?
So that's it, that's all I have.
Back road.
Issue.
No, that's the front.
Front road.
So front brakes, and he said machine rear rotors,
It's just turning the road.
balance tires and alignment is $1,008.
To, do a brake job and to
Front brakes, machine rear rotors, brake fluid, balance tires and alignment, all for $1,008.
Who did it?
Investors.
get
That's way high. That's probably trying to $500 or $600 job.
We were just kind of desperate, we're going to conference this weekend, so and I had driven it when the Silver Explorer went in, and it was rough, it was running rough, that's why we went ahead and did it.
Have you took it to Brooks?
We just, we got classes coming up, I've got a class in 2 weeks,
And we're leaving Saturday.
so it's.
Well, no, that's great. They really didn't say anything about how it's working.
I mean, we can have them put on brakes or just one or two or whatever y'all think, if you would just rather us get it workable to drive down and
Well, it's part of the budget, right? It's part of the budget.
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
You got the funds to do it, I mean, you got that. I know y'all say that's high, it may be, but I understand, is that gonna be cheaper for us to fix than pay them all miles when they use the car?
No, we want to get it fixed, we're just thinking what we're talking about now.
Less than the brake fluid out, it's just a, all dealerships, they're gonna charge $100, all they gonna do is hook up a pump to, pump the old fluid out, which you gotta talk about anything, and usually it goes in.
And I can tell Bradley, I told him to hold off until he heard from me.
Well, then,
Just go ahead and do
Just
it.
see-
I want to do it right, right, do it, that's.
if y'all, want- yeah, try to make that decision, we don't, you can't, because they're very hard on that, very well. We can get by without doing that.
I'll go see how much it'll be.
Does that sound good, y'all? Y'all any more questions for me?
It's just,
But then too, you know, it's like, there's places that you can take it it's cheaper, but how quick are they gonna get to it?
Right, how long you have to wait? Yeah. All right,
I just need a new tractor.
you need a new tractor?
Yeah.
Resolution, you know, put on.
Yes, sir, I'm gonna come to you at the end.
But one line is part of it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Right now, I've only got one bush hog crew running. I've got two big Massey's, 4 tractors, both in the shop, clutch issues, not shifting gears, not moving. And then the Massey side on it was been in the shop for a year. We got it back, cut about 300 yards, and it started shifting hard again, so I parked it. So what I would like to do is surplus all 3 of them, so in the December auction. The state bid, Coben's, Montgomery's got a state bid on tractors. A new Massey Ferguson 4-wheel drive, 110 horsepower, 71,923 and 1 penny. He's got one on the yard. And he's putting my name on it till next week. So if we pull the trigger on it, I can have it next week. But that's the only way I'm really gonna get a second crew started is
what do you think you're gonna get out of the 3 of them?
you probably get 15, I'd say you probably get 15 out of each of them. So there's
Well,
probably.
we're going for another Massey Ferguson, so what's, I mean, these are not very old ones you got.
There's one or 2,001. 1 years old.
Those were bought surplus, they were bought from the state.
Well, the state just bought some, they bought, when they was coming back up Highway 9 about 2 years ago, with those Massey Fergusons, they bought brand new off the lot, and hell, they didn't even make it from, 280 to, hell, they didn't make it to Halfland.
You just gotta realize, it don't matter what color paint it's got on now, they all make the paint from China.
Well, whatever it is, I'm just saying.
They're on warranty.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you need 2 resolutions, one to surplus them and sell them, and you need one to purchase that. And you need 71,000. Or you got the money, you got it.
I'm not even gonna budget that. Do something else.
So you're just getting one, right?
Just getting one. I mean, that leaves me without a backup, because that's what these 2 are. So we got a big Kubota that we bought you, it's a 2007, so we got it, and it's working. And then we had these 2 Massey's, one of them was pulled, the other was backup. But yes, that leaves me without a backup, but that gets second crew running, which is, that's the best I do.
You got a cab.
Yeah.
We got a transfer from the rainy day fund, and I thought we'd use that money to buy the tractor. And I would be willing to do that if nobody else wants to. I'm not forcing the fund.
Well, we just use part of that 350,000, just leave that out of the ARPA money.
What's up to y'all? Y'all,
They changed the ruling on that, we can buy equipment with it now, and we don't have to go through all that crap, giving it back to them and all that stuff like we did to start with. We still got, what do we got, 300,000, 350,000?
That was 300 that we put aside for earmark for,
Well-
50 of it went to,
55 of it.
55 of it went to EMS equipment.
So we got 290,000 left.
So 300.
Put it on the agenda.
is that what y'all want to do as a whole?
All right, they got all.
Everybody do that? New business consent agenda or what? Consent agenda. Everybody good with that?
But he needs 2 resolutions.
Okay, those are the
The
specific
other one's to surplus.
surplus, yeah.
You want to come to the agenda?
Yeah.
Skip next month. I ain't gonna skip next week's, but, the other thing is, talk about the bridge on 863 on Rough Flats. Brought AECOM out today, we crawled around looking at them, they're gonna be the company that comes out and does structural analysis on it. Initial thoughts on it was everything looked like it was going to be in good shape. They didn't see any major concerns that could be addressed in the foundations. But that would be, and he's giving me up exact, but it's going to be in the $25,000 range to do that design and the documentation and all that goes with that.
So how long would it be before you order the bridge to go across there? You think probably in the fall or
You're going to probably
eventually?
order it now. You probably, I will order the bridge for that.
Okay.
I could probably have it bid out this spring.
I'd like to take my ARPA money and put towards that bridge and road work.
We need to get that report before we start spending money.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But they won't. Okay, yeah.
You're talking about covering the design of that,
Gotcha.
not the bridge.
Oh, okay. But they gonna bring divers out, they gonna check the foot and all that stuff.
Yeah, we won't have to have divers there, it's shallow. They're actually both sitting on the bank. So we poke the drill, get everything needed.
So if that's okay, then we're just looking at setting another bridge in, just like we don't see.
The difference between this and 71 is all switch the approaches out on this one as well.
On the bridge, how critical are you for one of those height restrictions on that? Is that really that critical on that?
If we replace the approaches and everything, it'll be fully loaded. Other than just protecting the bridge, but if we rated it, if we had 20 rating to take whatever we can take.
And then the only thing we would have to put up signs is still a single lane bridge, approaching the bridge is 15 to 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, but it'll be a fully rated bridge.
Okay.
By doing the approaches as well.
So you got down what everybody's got set aside for their ARPA money? And you want to take your 25 work?
It's 25,000.
Steve?
Is the guesstimate on it. He's working, by next Tuesday, I'll have it out.
Okay, so we'll make a resolution. It's,
So wait a minute. Just think. With us using that money, does that fall us into a federal situation? That we need to do that different? Do I need to get that money?
You can use that money that everybody got from the, rainy day money to do that $25,000.
I've got something else for that. I'm giving up all my money to go on the bridge that I have somebody else to do tonight for my bill. I'm not gonna give up my rainy day fund money for that.
No, that's what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, Florida came back and asked for $87,000. Okay, everybody got $87,000. You can use that money to do whatever you want.
I know, I'm not gonna use it on that bridge. Okay. All right. Yeah, you can find it. Okay, there you go.
That might be a good question.
You're right, you can.
Yeah, that's
good. We could.
And see, the way we were planning on doing that,
Let's
is
round
remember,
it out.
is use it in Laura's district we can do it, because it meets the guidelines. But when we touch a bridge, any of those dollars then flips it into a federal, and it's gonna be a $3 million bridge instead of a $1 million bridge. So we
So
don't
you
want to
just
touch.
need to come out of rainy day.
Yeah.
I mean, out of your,
Yeah.
all right. Is it
So-
your district too?
Yes, at one end of the bridge is.
Okay.
But, you know, what I brought up 2 or 3 months ago about swapping that money for road money,
Right.
I mean, we can still do that.
But that's what I'm saying, it's going in then that money's going over there, and what me and Leah talked about was on 66 or somewhere, there's a, somewhere between you and Laura has a cover, or somewhere it's got to be replaced.
It's in Culver's on 65.
65, so, yeah, so it's actually up just about the right amount.
But in the long run, are you going to be able to use the ARPA money for it? In the long run, if you're costing it?
Culver.
Yeah.
Culver.
Even though, okay.
That's
You
what.
can't do it in the study, but you can in the.
You can't do, but that don't have to, see, you can, that meets the guidelines. when you're going across a river bridge, like, the one, like, if you wanna build a bridge, like, what's that on 18?
That's what, like the one over below Tracy,
What do you
that
speak?
bridge we built there. That's a federal, that's federal guidelines to build that bridge.
When you use federal money, you gotta go by their guidelines, which
Your
we can't.
28-foot wide concrete.
Instead of a $500,000 bridge, you gotta be a $3 million.
Well, what I'm saying is, he's wanting to say, for the study, use the rainy day.
Yeah, yeah,
But
If you
are you
use-
do the study, then are you gonna come back and use the ARPA money for,
No,
where you gonna use that, where you get that from?
well, what happened is it would come out of his budget, but what, there's gonna be money, every year we have money, we put projects aside. He can take my money
You go out to
and build it
school.
somebody else's district, and then take their money that they're gonna build that public with, and use it on that bridge over there. He used his money, state money,
So it's gonna be,
it's moving around.
okay,
But now, the rainy day money he's talking about is the money everybody's done got. This is not more money coming out of the rainy day.
right, we just referring to that.
Yeah.
It's discretionary money.
Yeah, because everyone else got
Money on the
$87,000.
rim, you know?
No, it's not called that. But it's no different than all the money that we get in this place, you know, like, the tobacco tax money set up for only 3 things. I mean, you know, just because we get money, you can't use it here, here, and here, and here. But general fund money, we can use it just about anywhere.
As of
That's
right
what
now.
that is, general fund.
All right, so going forward, we're gonna use discretionary money coming from him,
25,000.
25,000 for the study. Hopefully it won't be 25,000, but something like that, up to close, be close. All right, so you got that, you got that, Ms. Cleburne?
Our resolution, you use 25,000 in our Roger Hills discretionary fund.
Discretionary fund is,
Well, it's that rainy day money, right?
rainy day
Which
fund,
we agreed to move over to the discretionary fund, correct?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what
That's
y'all
exactly,
saying.
that's right. Well, there's the rainy day fund, everybody got 87.
You don't agree?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's
And it's
$87,000.
still sitting in our.
But it is still sitting in the rainy day fund, like she said,
But
but it's not rainy day fund money anymore. It belongs to everyone.
It's designated, yeah.
Yeah, see, just like the ARPA money, see, I got 450,000, well, I'm gonna put the 87,000 on my 450,000. And spend it next year.
And with his project, it's gonna be a county project, so if there's not the.
There's no federal guidelines on doing farm market roads.
Yeah, and but when you touch a bridge like that, to build a bridge with it,
You gotta go.
now we can pave roads and we can do all kinds of stuff with that money because of the guidelines with it.
My concern was you're gonna use the ARPA money to do it, but you're not.
No.
You're gonna use this discretionary on the rainy day account to do the study. But we can do the
Yeah.
agenda now, you got it?
Now, it's totally clear.
All right.
Regular
It's gonna get,
agenda,
it's gonna get even more complicated because we're gonna go back and reverse some of the stuff we've already approved, the gas tax money, to swap this all around.
Right.
But we ain't gotta do it this month.
Consent agenda good? You good with consent agenda on that, or you wanna do business? Okay. Consent. Anything else? Any questions for Lee?
I'll deal with
We still doing road closure hearing next week, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna be here?
that. I'm not gonna be here for that.
Does he need to be here for that?
No, I don't have to be.
Okay. We just have, public hearing.
I've got the resolution and everything done, so I'll have all that here. And as a sign-in sheet, if you get everybody here to sign, that'd be about the extent of it. Other than that,
I have an opportunity to speak if somebody against it or for it, right?
when you open the meeting, ask if they got, anybody wants to speak, and
I can actually, if everybody don't want to speak, I can cut it short just by saying that everybody that owns property on that road has agreed not to close it, except for one person. But if they all want to get up and talk, that's fine, they can get up and talk, but I'm not gonna make a resolution to close it.
Well, let's let them speak.
That's what I said, if they want to get up and talk, that's fine, but
Because you have to make the
it's a
resolution.
foregone conclusion, yeah, if I gotta make it, I'm not gonna make it.
there's one that hasn't made a
Motion
motion.
by David.
And then all landowners have contacted me and said that.
All right, that was the law in the beginning, then it changed for a while, and it's come back to that, right? Where he has to make,
He has to make that decision.
It's been there since I've been in office for at least 8 years.
there was a short period of time where it didn't have to be, it seems like.
But either Lee or me has spoken to everybody that owns property, and Marty that came to the meeting is the only one that's closed.
Okay.
And the major landowner on the road, I talked to him yesterday, he said the
and then call, yeah, I agree, so if you don't make a resolution, then they can't, then it's not recognized.
You want to tell them when the meeting starts that, you know, this is the deal, one person wants it, everybody else against it, that they don't have to get up and speak. But if they want to get up and speak, we'll listen.
All right, you good on that? Any other questions?
And it is fall break, that's what we're going on vacation. So,
Monday is a holiday too. You have any more resolutions?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to, put on the agenda that to give Ms. Brown and the sheriff authority to create a unique job description for the SRO position. And we've already talked about this, and it's needed, you know. The SRO will have their unique duties, and when they're not at the school, they'll have other duties. So that'll be up to the sheriff. But I've done a lot of looking around and asking questions, and the SRO descriptions are very common. They're straightforward, and you can pick them up anywhere on the internet or anywhere. But it is unique to the school, so I want that in writing, and then the other duties that the sign, so to speak, the sheriff can put those with it. You know, if they're not at the school, they're patrolling, they can do whatever he needs to do as far as putting those duties on the job description.
All right, so what you're asking for is, would it be actually a resolution to task them with doing that? Creating a
Well,
job
how do we get it done?
okay. Y'all can discuss that amendment or anything.
Well, it sort of goes back to what we just left. What we do, is we put the money in there to fund these officers. With the intent, the agreement would have to be tied in with this, with the sheriff. You know, that's sort of where comes in, and we can tell sheriff how to run his office. To where, you know, at the end of the day, he can call all three of those in because they work under him, or he can fire them all. I mean, you know, I'm just, what is our, to tell the sheriff, I mean, sure, we need a job description for them, how much we're gonna pay them. But then once we do that, that would be what you're after, right?
What are their duties? You know, they'll be at the school when the building is open, you know, and after hours.
Have we got any input from the ACCA on this? I mean, I'm sure that we're not the only county that's run a process where it's in the sheriff's department, do we know?
Well, we've got working on it right now, just the attorney, you know, getting everything crossed to protect the county, protect the sheriff's office.
I just wonder if there might be, like you say, there may be one out there
I'm sure
already.
there is.
But wouldn't you need to sort of frame this differently and say it's a deputy, because you want it to be a deputy, you and John both agree on that. You want it to be a deputy, but add these duties to a deputy. I mean, the deputy duties would be the main thing, right? Or am I missing something? I mean, because you're gonna use them in the summertime as deputies, so they're deputies with these additional job descriptions. So you would start out with just a deputy and add on, right?
I'm looking at it right the opposite. I'm looking at it like the primary duty is the SRO. And
That's what it means.
after hours or weekends or whatever, if they want to patrol, you know, and be like the deputy, that would be secondary, the way I look at it.
I mean, you still got two duties, it doesn't matter which one's first or secondary, you still.
But basically, what we're after is hiring the officers for the school.
They still want the sheriff's solution. Okay. All right, so,
What about
but does
this?
it need to be an agenda? What, I mean,
What about this? Okay, you got, which this is all hypothetical, we done nothing yet. Okay, you hire an SRO, the job description says you're to be at the school at 8 o'clock, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what if Dennis wants to move that person over to be a regular deputy? So what kind of problem does that create?
Just have to hire behind it, hire an SRO behind it, you know? I mean,
But is that, what I'm trying to say is that two completely different jobs, or is it just a lateral move? Since you got two different job descriptions.
yeah.
You know, Calhoun County, their primary job is school resource officer. In the summer months, that's their pay for the, transport people for the jail or whatever.
Since Emily's not here, you can just get Emily to reach out to Calhoun County and get their job description. Everybody take a look at it, y'all take a look at it.
I would say if they have a school resource officer and then become a deputy, then at least, I would say have to apply, because their job is basically an SRO.
But just two completely separate jobs.
Right, and that's why we got one now, that's wanting to move, but we can't move him until, you know, of course, the position's open, but we're gonna have to replace him first.
He's wanting to move to the school.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
You know, that's a really solid position. When guys in the or near the end of their career, and they don't want to be in the
Especially when you get over 10 years.
Yeah, you want a more relaxed, seeing kids every day kind of thing, rather than putting up with fights and things like these younger guys do. They really look out for those SRO positions, because you've had, what, 2 or 3 people already calling you.
Yeah.
So, what I'm asking is, do we need a resolution? I mean, is there something that y'all have gotten or could get between you and Emily? Or you and Emily, or do we need a resolution? Y'all provide that to the commission?
I don't know that you need a resolution, but you need a job description in place and getting hired.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm asking. Is there something you wanted to be voted on? I don't know that we need to vote on it. Can we
So
just?
then we know it's getting done.
Okay.
If we just sit here and then
Just task Emily.
task Emily to get with John and Dennis to fill job description for those jobs.
All right. So maybe y'all can do that this week, and then if we don't, by next week, we go ahead and do the resolution. Task.
You don't need to.
Yep. New business.
Number 2.
Number 2, I want us to obligate the SSUT tax money to fund these SRO positions
Okay.
and dedicate that money. I mean,
I think you sort of get the cart before the horse there. I mean, we hadn't even agreed to the contract to even do it.
well, that may be true too.
I think on the,
This is something that needs to be done.
I think on the form that we got the other day from John tells us what our portion is, correct?
If you agree with it.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to agree to stuff before you start funding it.
So you remember the other day when we got that form, so that would be the number that you would allocate for that. So what we'll do is we'll get the job description, so it's not gonna be in this next meeting. But we can get the job description done right there.
Yeah, we can do the job description, but until we have an agreement with the Board of Education, I mean, you're funding something that don't exist, because we have to look at stuff that's on the books. If it ain't on the books, we can't fund it.
But what we're saying is,
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, we need to use that money
if
for it.
the attorney is gonna come, should be, have everything back. Did you hear from the attorney?
I did talk to him, he said that he thought we would have more on the agreement by next week. That he's still getting his part together and catching up with the school board and trying to get something in place.
So that way we can have the job description and the contract, everything for the school to be used to.
How much is that, tax running?
It's about 450,000.
A year?
Right now, it is earmarked for salaries.
It's a pay study that we did.
It's for salary.
Well, I
It was,
think.
it was fund to pay study and then additional funds to fund salaries.
Right.
So it's all going into
And he still comes out of general fund. See, it's going in the general fund. It all goes.
Well, the SSUD money goes into the general fund, but that money is earmarked for salaries, just to sort of tie to something.
But now, Mr. Hill, are you content with that? Is there something, I know,
I'm just trying to get ready to hire.
okay.
You know. Number three, you ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But now, right now, you're waiting, are you content on waiting? Because we can't fund it, yet we don't know.
We can wait, that's going, it'll be
All
done.
right, okay. All right,
Okay, down at Pleasant Grove School, they need work on the fence and different things. And, they gave me an estimate this morning, $5,075. And I would like to take the money out of my discretionary fund and give it to them for that purpose.
you want to consent agenda or anything?
Consent agenda will be fine.
Okay.
Tell us which
Huh?
which
Pleasant Grove.
I'm finished.
You finished? Emmett, you got anything? How about you, Jay?
Yeah, I want to bring up something again, but I really don't want to, but y'all sure we don't need to look at in-house garbage service? I mean, I brought this up 2 or 3 months ago, and everybody just didn't want to talk about it. We're getting down to, if it's not, if we don't have something going by the end of the year, then it's not going to happen. And then whatever figure the garbage people throws out there, then we just not to live with it. I mean, I guess my question is, can we at least explore it, let Lee come up with some figures?
Sure. You got time to do that, Lee?
I mean, what we would have to have is 2 trucks, 2 drivers, and a transfer station, is that it?
That's, the disposal of it's really the biggest.
That's the biggest,
Do we leave a transfer station and dispose of it from there, or do we haul it to? Do we haul it to, yeah.
Well, if we had a transfer station, we could contract hire and we could transport the vehicle. Why don't, and I'm asking the commission to let Lee come up with some figures we can look at next month. Because if we don't get something done before the end of the year, we're screwed. We're just at the mercy of whatever the waste management or whoever comes up. And I think they're already saying it's going to be a 40 or 50% increase at least.
You want to do that, or you think you don't need to do the task, you okay with looking into that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that, anything else? All right, let's go home. Or go somewhere else.